everything is gorgeous. Let me welcome. She is a stock maven. She is the let me say, one of the people that for some of y'all that made a lot of people rich, right? That made a lot of people wealthy, made a lot of people able to walk off their jobs or to increase their happiness. She is a stock and options trader. Let me welcome the great, the one and only Teri Ijeoma.
Hey, Karen. Thanks for
Hello,
having me today.
girl. Hi, 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 hi. You know it's wild. I met you at an Angela E. Matthews event, and her first one in Texas. And I think I sat next to you, and I didn't know who you were. And I invited you to my first Healthy Wealthy Wise, and you came, showed up, brought your mom. It was beautiful. And I didn't realize how impactful this would be for so many people. Tiffany Aliche was on a few weeks ago, and I did not realize that this woman did not trade. I just assumed that she was in the stock market. I just assumed that, a great deal of her wealth was made there. And she was like, I don't know nothing about it. I'm scared of it. I come and I said, scared? How's Tiffany Aliche, get good with money? Like she is the money magnet. And it was wild to me when you look at the stats, how many of us are just afraid, and we have a right to be afraid. We know the Freedmen's Bank destroyed Black wealth. We know the subprime lending debacle destroyed Black wealth. That when it's time to speculate, they're always going to use us. Wells Fargo, hi, how you doing? We can never do business. That's me personally. But at the end of the day, not just that the day ends, this is important. We have to be in this space. We can't sit on the sidelines complaining about things. And you have demystified it for so many people. So I just wanted to say thank you to you for that.
Thank you. Thank you. And you're right, Tiffany. So the budgetista, she came to me recently and she was like, Teri, I want more time back. I want to figure out how to get my time. And I said, well, why don't you just invest? I know you've done well over the years. Aren't you making money from your investments, your money in the account? And she was like, no, not yet. I said, wait, what? I said,
She
that's
said,
the
no,
way
not
you
yet.
do. Not yet. She said, Teri, she said, we weren't taught that. She's like, I know how to save really well. I know how to invest for the long term, but I don't know how to invest for my time. How do I pay myself so I can get my time back? And that's where I came in. So she came and she's like, teach me how to trade. I want to know. I said, yeah, I've been traveling. I didn't, if I want to work, I can. If I don't want to work, I don't have to. And she's like, what do you mean you don't have to? I said, well, my accounts made my allowance for the month, year, And she said, oh, yeah, you got to teach me. How do I do that?
I didn't know that that was possible. And once the veil was lifted, it was like, why didn't I know this? And you look around and you're like, other people know this. And you think people are rich or wealthy or able to do these things because they're smarter. That's not true. They work harder. That's not true. They just know some things that we can know too because the knowledge is there, and it's not like it was 20 years ago where trades cost money. It's not like trading places where they were on the stock, with Mortimer and Snell. It's not like that anymore. Everyone can trade, and you can trade and not and it's free. You
Yeah.
could all do it now.
And
Yeah.
Karen, I feel like trading is a big word. Some people, as soon as they hear it, and when I say I'm a trader, they immediately either do two things. Immediately, they either one, turn off because they say, well, that's not for me. So I don't, whatever. Or because of their fear or trauma that they've had, they immediately go negative and they say, oh, well, that's too risky. I heard that you're not supposed to buy and hold for retirement. Like they put all these excuses on it. So I want to actually dumb down the word trading. I really just mean buy a stock and allow it to make some extra money for you so that you can do what you want. That's what we mean when we say trading. How do you actually use the stock for income? So when we say everybody can trade, like everybody can buy a stock, we can teach you how to do that wisely, of course, right? You can get some education around it. But even if you bought just a stock that follows the general market, which is what, like the basics, the market went up 10% this last quarter. So if you had $1,000 in there, you would have already had 100. So everybody could have made 10% this last quarter just by even following the overall market, not even actively getting in and out and doing all the things. No, if you had just bought a stock and let it go up for you a little bit, you could have made some extra money. That's what we're talking
Yes.
about.
Yes. For me, when I first met you, I don't think I had been dabbling with no with like I was whatless. So back in the day, I had like net zero. Like I had invested in like some raggedy stocks, and what I've learned, and getting the foundation is important. It's like learning addition and subtraction as a school teacher, right? You can't go to calculus or to algebra without knowing multiplication. So you have to master certain things so that you can go to the next level. For me, learning the basics allowed me to find my comfort, or not even my comfort, my sweet spot. I'm not going to trade every day. I am very risk averse. I do not like to lose money. I work too hard. I've lost money in the past. It's not a good feeling. So I'm trading for 99-year-old Karen. So for me, it's all about the dividend. So for example, I'm just going to, and this is not for this is not advice.
Yes,
866-801-8255.
educational purposes only. Uh-huh.
Period. I'm telling you what I did. So somebody gave me a tip about this stock Coney, which was attached to the crypto. CONY.
I'm just kidding.
And it, huh? What?
I said, "Oh goodness," and then I said, "I'm just kidding," because you're like,
Okay. No, but no, I mean, because it could be, it's risky, right? So, but it pays somewhere between $1.62 and $2.90 per share, right? A month. Yes. So I know it's risky because crypto can go blah blah. So what I did was I got in, bought a bunch of shares, and then I don't reinvest it. I take the money and then I build another position, which with a dividend aristocrat. And so far so good. Like the last 8 months has been fire, And I know at any point in time this stock could go kablooey or maybe not. It's one of those things, but it has been amazing. And just focusing on that one stock because it pays every month, I'm able to like take that money and put it someplace else where I know it's going to be safe. And I've already made back what I put in just on a dividend. So there's no loss. You know what I'm saying? But you have to sit and do that math.
But Karen, do you realize that you're saying that you are trading?
Oh,
Any
I am.
active,
I
yeah,
am.
as
I
you're
am.
an
Yes.
active investor.
Yes, I
Anything
am.
that you get in and out of in less than a year is an active investment. So you are a trader. You're like,
I
I'm
am.
not going to trade, but I've been like getting into these dividend stocks and taking my profits, and I've been doing it in less than 8 months. You are a
Right.
trader.
Right. But not like, like I don't feel as comfortable. I'm not doing options. I'm not doing, I'm not in and out every day. I'm not looking at the stock market every day. I have my go-tos that I built positions in. And then when they get to a certain amount, at the beginning of the year, I said, this is how much I want to make this year in dividends. And these are the bills that I want to pay with. So that means when I'm sleeping, these bills are getting paid no matter what. Even if the stock market crashes, I'm still getting the dividend because they're mostly dividend aristocrats, except for this Coney. So I'm factoring that in. But I know I'm going to get X amount of dollars a month or X amount of dollars a quarter, no matter what. I did the math, right? So I don't have to. I can set it and forget it. I know how
Yeah.
many shares I need.
Okay, so from what you're telling me right now, we're just gonna switch the language. Instead of
Okay.
using the word trader, we're gonna use active investor. You are
Active
an
investor.
active
I'm an
investor.
active. Yes.
You like
Yes.
you monitor your stocks on a regular basis, not all the time, so you don't have to like watch it every day, but just enough. You get into things that you think are good for you, and then you take some profit when you feel like it's done well. That's an active investor. Like that, you're doing it. You're doing
Okay.
the
Okay.
thing.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
You just are using different words. You know what, Karen? I think Black people, we do that often. We're actually doing the thing, but then we will say we're not because of whatever like perception we have of what, like, I'm not a trader. I just actively invest and get income all the time. And it's in a dividend. Like,
I mean, but
hold
you look at somebody like you, and it's like, well, I'm not doing what you're doing, Teri. So, you put it in categories. But what I've learned is that everybody has to find their center. I will never be the kind of investor that you are, and that's okay.
that's
That's why we
okay.
have different
Yes.
fingerprints. I'm a different person. I have different needs, different wants. I don't, I'm not trading to travel. I'm trading to be 99 and be taken care of. That's my sole purpose. I think
Yes.
Tiffany has Wanda that she's, she's preparing for her Wanda, who's her 99-year-old version of herself. And
Yes.
I feel like for me, this is a freedom. It freed me up so much. And I want to, again, thank you. Thank you because you unlock something in my brain. Because sometimes that's all as a teacher, you just want to see that light bulb go off over your students' heads, right? When they get it. I got it. And what I realized, I was working too hard. Serial entrepreneur, always coming up with a new idea to do this, to do that, to do this, and never factoring in the foundation that is needed to be able to have the freedom to do those things and not worry about waking up and not having money in your bank account. And now I have that. And you have, it makes it so, if nothing else, cars paid for, I'm not worried about my housing. And you don't need a whole lot. Once you realize what you need,
No.
you don't need millions and millions and millions of dollars, even though you have that. So that's
No,
good.
I'm smiling from ear to ear. Like y'all listening on the radio, y'all can't see how big my smile is, but I'm so proud. Like this feels like a proud teacher moment for me right now. Because like you said, there are tons of ways to invest. You don't have to invest like me. And when you say like me, I actually am growing too. I've learned that I have different ways of investing. So in the beginning, when I was an educator, I needed to replace my income. So I needed to be a trader because I needed money right now. Like if I don't get money from trading, then I won't eat. So I need to pay the bills. I need to trade and make money. But then as my account started building, well, I have enough money. Now I can invest in things a little bit more longer term. So I've started investing in the S&P 500 and things that you can have working for you, but you don't have to watch it all the time. I do have a financial advisor, and now I have buckets. I do have some dividends in there. Now I have some um private equity and just all different types of investing. So as I've grown and as my money has grown, I've also diversified. So I actually, when you say trade like you, yes, I like to be active. It's gonna take me some time to just buy and hold. I will for me, I feel like I would never do that. Just that's not my
That's
personality.
your
I want some
personality.
money
I
right
was gonna
now.
say you like the
Um,
thrill. Yes.
but I do like the dividend play. Like I like seeing every month I see a little check that comes through. This is how much dividends you've made this month. And I like seeing that even savings accounts. Some people are like, oh, I'm not an investor, but you have a savings account that's making 4 to 5%. You're an investor. That's a part of my portfolio too. So I actually think there's three different levels. Now that I've been doing this a long, I mean, I've been trading 14 years, but now that I've been a portfolio manager of my money, right? The first level I think is savings accounts. If you have a savings account that makes like 4 to 5%, you are an investor. Just by putting your money in the right account, you are now an investor. So like if anyone was afraid, I can't invest, you're already investing. You already have it in a certain account, right? Then that next level is the more passive investing. So it's the dividends that you do. It's the investing in just the S&P and letting it run. Those are the more passive. They make about 8 to 10% return. And then the trading is when you want to like blow the ceiling off and you're like, I want more than 10%. Let's put a little bit more risk, but let's do it more active and let's go. Then that's the fun stuff. That's the third level.
um a lot of us, again, the education gap is wide on purpose, and the fear is baked in on purpose. I remember, having a 401k at my job. I never once looked at what they were investing in because I figured they knew better, and I don't think I did very well. I remember before investing actively, I was in Betterment, because they do it for you and you don't have to, you just put the money in and they just do it for you. I do better than they do. So I still have my Betterment account because I'm not, cashing it out. But I do better annually than Betterment does because I care. It's my money. It's my account. I'm looking at it. I'm making choices based on what I'm comfortable doing, and I've made some really good decisions, trial and error, and it's, to me, that growth that we have to get out of our own way, out of our comfort zone a little bit, try something, make it work. The biggest hurdle was, I was looking for cheap stocks because I felt like I didn't have money. I didn't have enough money to invest in the big stocks, the Microsofts, the IBMs, Apple before it split, even though those were, Apple and Microsoft and the, what's the other one? It was, one more
Meta,
stock. There was,
Nvidia,
there's
Google.
so many, right? But they're like, the stock was $300 a share. I was like, that's out of my range, you know. But when you do your research and you do the math on it, even having 10 shares of a stock like that could benefit you more than a stock that may cost you $5 a share or $10 a share, and it's more stable. I had to learn that too to get out of my own, like, oh, I'm too scared. It's probably better to have 10 shares of this than 100 shares of something that is not as stable and won't pay.
It's better to have one share of a healthy company that will actually move and grow than to have 1,000 shares of a penny stock. And penny stocks just means they're less than $10 and they don't grow. Like there's a reason why they're less than $10. I would rather have one stock of Apple, Meta, and educational purposes only, Nvidia that can rise to 1,000 versus a whole bunch of stuff that'll go worthless, right?
Yeah.
It's better to have just a healthy company that that they will do well over time.
Yep, yep. Chipotle recently, I think, is about to split, or did it split?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, I don't really eat Chipotle like that. But see, so some of us invest in things that we eat and buy. Like I hear, I wear Nike, so I'm invested in Nike. I like Disney. I remember Ange Matthews. I like Disney because I go to Disney. What is your thought? What is your thought, Terry, on what do you believe in investing in things like that that you like, that you do, that you eat, that you know?
I think it's important that you learn how to look at the actual stock price. So yes, think of things that you like. If you like Apple, that's great. If you like Disney, I actually love Chipotle. So I love Chipotle, but their stock is extra high right now. It's like $2,900. So I can't wait for the stock split because after the split, and this is a tip for you guys. Wait till after the split. After the split, the stock will usually come down a little bit. Give it a little time to come down and then buy it. So if someone's thinking about, oh, I like Chipotle, I'm about to buy some, wait till after the split and then wait for it to come down some. But
I did that with Apple, by the way. When I did that with
yeah,
Apple, and you're absolutely right. Absolutely. I didn't know, but I waited, and then I waited, and then I bought it after the split shortly after, and then it went back up. And I was like, oh, okay, Apple, hey.
these are tips that you just don't know unless you're watching the market or been in it for a while. I also learned for an IPO, wait. After when something is initially coming onto the market, oftentimes it will also pop. It'll run up the first few hours and then it'll have this big drop. Wait till after the drop, right? But those are just little tips you learn from educators, right? People have been in there. But so I agree that you can look for stuff that you like. However, it's a myth that those companies are always going to do well. Because I
I
can think
mean, wait, hold on, Terry. Truth Social went public. You ain't got to get involved politically. Truth Social went public. Stock was riding, and I think it's lost like $1 billion in the last couple of weeks. Like it has plummeted since because the value still has to be there. There still has to be something tangible about this new company for it to keep going.
let me give y'all a couple extra tips on how to pick healthy companies or how to find good ones to invest in. One, when you go on the CNBC channel, there's a channel that does finances, or even Bloomberg. They usually have a ticker symbol riding at the bottom. Oftentimes, those ticker symbols are the most popular stocks at the time. Look at those first. Personally, I think it's a myth that you should just find some unicorn stock that nobody knows about. No, if you want to make money, you need a healthy company that everybody knows about. But you just don't want to buy it at the highs. If it's been riding up and up and up, and this is the highest that it's ever been, wait. You want it to come down, be on sale, and then buy it. But in terms of just picking a company, you're looking for healthy companies. Earnings come out once a quarter. So every 3 months, the earnings reports come out and they tell you how they're doing. Matter of fact, BlackRock is about to report tomorrow. We are in earnings season right now. The banks are about to report and tell us how they're doing. Then the tech stocks will go. Listen to what happens. What are they saying? Are they saying that they're going to do well over time? Are they saying that their company's still doing good? Make sure that you listen to that. Another tip on earnings is there's a tool called Earnings Whisperer on Instagram. It's EPSW Whispers. But they don't spell it all the way out. So EPSW PHR, something like that. Look it up. Earnings Whisperers on Instagram. They have this whole calendar. On that calendar, they say when earnings are, but also they only pick the companies that are most popular. So look at those. So that's some tips on how to find healthy companies versus just going for, well, my hairspray is this brand, so I'm gonna look at my hairspray. That company may not be the best company.
That is great advice. 866-801-8255. We have to go to a break. When we come back, you have a challenge. You want people to take their, and I'm, again, for me, I want everyone listening to be free. And part of the financial freedom that we all need to be able to make these decisions, stay at your raggedy job and not have to. That's a flex. To be at work and you don't have to be there, I promise you, people treat you differently. Done it a couple of times. It feels different and it makes it more pleasurable. I would bring cookies in. I was baking cookies for everybody because it was joy. I'm there because I want to be. And it changes and shifts the dynamic in the office place when you know I got my own back. And that's all I want for everyone. I'm not saying people should quit their jobs, but you should be able to do that and still work. And that, again, so let's talk a little bit about how we feed the engine to get there and how long it takes, because I think that's important. And there's some questions that are in the Nubia chat and on Twitter that I'm going to get to as well. So you sticking around, Teri Ijeoma?
Yeah, I'm with
Okay.
you.
All right, I appreciate it. And we're going to tweet out for those of you who have never traded and you want to take your first trade, you want to do your first investment, tradeandtravel.com/Karen, tradeandtravel.com/KAREN, and let's get busy.
I won't just say yes. Need you to do more and say less. I won't just say yes. Need you to do more and say less. I thought you knew that.